Hello and greetings, my friend, once again to another episode here, the Red Delta Project podcast and live feed Q&A. I'm Matt Schifferly, your humble host as always, with another episode to help you break free of the fitness rat race. Today's topic are 3 apps that you can use for effective self-coaching that are free, that are going to give you great quantitative feedback on what you need to do in order to make progress, and to keep you from running around in circles, just spending all of your time, money, and effort to ultimately go nowhere. But first, we have to pay the bills. Today's episode is first and foremost brought to you by my latest edition here, my next big book, Beautiful Strength: How to Use Calisthenics to Look and Feel Your Most Attractive Self. If you've ever gotten into the fitness game saying, I'm not much of an athlete, I don't really care too much about the whole functional fitness things, I just want to look better naked and feel more confident in my skin, that's what this program is all about. The PDF is available down below at reddeltaproject.com, paperback and Kindle on Amazon, and also by my new favorite shirt company, apparel company, Into the AM. Because after all, what is good about building a strong, attractive looking physique when you're hiding it under ugly clothing? And I certainly have experience with that because I never really cared much about fashion. I never knew what looked good from one thing versus another. And it was always kind of a bit humbling when I'd look at pictures of myself. It's like, what good? I'm working to improve my physique, and yet I got these baggy t-shirts and things don't fit all that well. I look like a, frumpy bum half the time because I'm just wearing whatever shirts I would pick up at like a local 5K race or a mountain bike race or whatever. And Into the AM is a great fit that helps to kind of highlight your strength and your physique, but it's not like, super skin tight that kind of is a little bit try hard, which is one of the biggest things that I write about in Beautiful Strength that compromises your attractiveness. So Into the AM got a discount code down below for 10% off if you want to check them out. Super comfortable for working out as well. All right, so we are talking about 3 apps. They're free. You probably already have them on your phone, and they can do wonders for helping you improve the safety, the comfort, the satisfaction, and the effectiveness of every workout you ever do. And the reason why these work is because they are effective self-coaching apps. And I use that term very deliberately right now because as a fitness coach myself and a calisthenics coach, I always tell my clients that the reason why you're coming to me is not to just get in a good workout or to learn how to build muscle or lose body fat. It's to improve every workout you ever do for the rest of your life. And that's my role as a coach. I am going to teach you information that will improve every set of push-ups you ever do. Every time you're programming a workout, you know how to do it better. Every single time you do lunges, you know how to do them safer for your knees. Every single time. And when it comes to coaching in fitness, we have this kind of weird, I wouldn't say it's a paradox, but a conundrum in fitness. Because on one hand, when it comes to success with anything worthwhile in life, but especially in fitness, you simply cannot get there very well effectively, if at all, on your own. And this is because every time you're working out, every time you are planning what to do as far as your habits go, you're always going off of whatever information and proficiency knowledge you have, which I can tell you right off the bat is almost never adequate to get what you want. If I wanted to go out and start learning how to rock climb, sure, I can just lace up my shoes and chalk up my hands and start scaling the wall and the rock climbing walls. But the fact is, I'm always bringing to the wall whatever proficiency and knowledge I have about rock climbing, how to plan the routes, how to position my body and be able to manage my weight distribution between my hands and my feet. I'm only working off of whatever I bring to the wall. And I can guarantee you that's not adequate to become even a halfway decent climber. So this is how many people can go to the gym and can eat right or even go to the rock climbing gym for years and put in all the effort they can and still not get very far. It's because you need to transcend above your knowledge, above your level of proficiency. And the fastest, easiest way to do that by far is with a coach. And this is why I tell people I can improve your workout more in 5 minutes than you would do on your own in 5 months. Because I have that experience, I have that knowledge, and I have that know-how that has taken me decades to accumulate, working also with other people to know what you need better than you do. So yeah, you do it on your own? Absolutely, but I can almost guarantee it's going to take a hell of a lot more work and a lot more money and a lot more time. Again, that's if you even get there at all, which I'm not a betting man, but not that I don't have faith in you, but I would bet it's not going to happen. However, with that said, there is this other side of fitness that means that you can't make it on your own, but on the same time, you are largely on your own most of the time. And most of us will never have a coach long term. Most of us will never have a personal trainer that we can afford the time and the money and the investment to see 2 or 3 times a week for the next 5 to 8 years. It's an investment. I ain't cheap. I fully recognize that. And when we do have coaching, it's hard to do on a regular basis. I have a coach here in Denver, but my schedule, because I'm a coach too, usually means I'm teaching people the same time they are available. So it's really hard for me to get in on a regular basis, even though I want to see the coaches at that school. I just can't make it work with my schedule on a regular basis. Just not happening. And furthermore, even though I can work with you 2 to 3 times a week, for example, for a good solid workout, I'm completely powerless to stop you from just going off and the rails on your diet, from getting terrible sleep, from just saying, yeah, okay, I'll get another workout in on my own and just never do it. So even though coaching is extremely valuable and very, very efficient and effective for helping us transcend our own limitations, we have to develop a very strong sense of self-reliance, being able to trust ourselves and be able to coach ourselves, because to a large degree, you are on your own. You are on your own much of the time. And this is why a lot of times athletes will say that getting in shape is kind of a bit of a lonely process. It's going to be hard. You're going to just basically be staring at yourself in the mirror. You've got no one else in your corner much of the time. So you've got to be able to depend on yourself. And these 3 apps help you do that, to help motivate you, to steer you in the direction you need to go, to keep you on track, and to tell you what you need to do, more importantly, for you specifically, about what's best for you. And we're going to be talking about these apps. You, again, already have these on your phone probably, and they're all free. I'm going to tell you how to use them for your benefit. Let's get to a couple of questions here. Comments. Luis Ortega, it's good to see you, saying, I'm incorporating burpees in the mix, which burpees I love to hate. I just hate them, to be honest with you. I've gotten so much hate on that sort of thing, though. Man, I mean, go back here and there we go. Sorry, technical glitch. So I like hard things, but it's never about what's hard. And that's what these apps are going to be about, because hard work doesn't get you success in life. The hardest worker in the room is usually the most incompetent worker in the room. Never brag about being the hardest worker in the room. The only person who's impressed by that is yourself, maybe your mother or something, who has mom goggles on and stuff. No one cares how hard you're working. Nobody cares about your blood, sweat, and tears at the end of the workout. What matters is productivity. And any time you can have more productivity with less work, you're winning. The way to look at it is hard work is a liability in our training. So you want to make sure the work you're putting in is worthwhile. It's producing the stimulus that you're after. You don't want to just put in a whole bunch of work, cross your fingers, and hope it's going to pan out. Because I fell for that rhetoric for far too long myself. Highly regret it, that you get out what you put in. I've been reading Dan John's new book, The Art of Coaching, and he breaks down, there's 4 categories of investments that you can make in life and fitness. Category number 1 is A class stuff. A stuff is you put in a little and you get back a lot. Okay, usually this is the very simple stuff like what I'm going to be discussing today. These are very simple things that don't require a whole lot of input or effort or expenditure, but they give you a ton back. That's the stuff that helps you win big time. Level B stuff is usually the stuff that is like one for one exchange. This is the stuff that, okay, I put in 10, I got back 10 units of productivity. That stuff is good and it fills in the gaps. Unit level C is the stuff where you put in a little bit and you're never going to get much out of it, but that's okay. It's a small cost kind of thing. That's the sort of thing where it's like, yeah, it's not too bad, but the more important thing is it's sometimes the C level stuff turns into the A level stuff when you get better at it. And then level F stuff, fail. That's the stuff where you put in a lot and you get very little back. And for me, that's burpees. Burpees require a lot, but they don't really give you a whole lot back other than getting good at burpees. And usually if someone's like, I want conditioning, I'm like, I've got 20 other ways that are going to be more effective. Well, I want to build muscle and strength. Again, I got a lot of other ways. The burpee is often cited as an exercise that does a whole lot of different things in one exercise, and that's true. But it's kind of like my Swiss Army knife that I carry around. Yeah, it's got like 15 different tools in it, but none of them are very good. It's a crappy saw, it's a crappy pair of tweezers, it's a crappy knife, it's a crappy pair of scissors. If I need a pair of scissors or a knife or a pair of tweezers, I'm better off going with a dedicated piece of equipment like that. Same thing with the burpees, but that's just my experience, which we're going to be talking about how you can determine whether or not something like the burpees is worthwhile for you, or if it's not going to be the best thing for you. Because who cares what my preference is? This is about your training and what works for you, not necessarily me. Cristobal is coming in saying, Matt, good to see you as always. I'm currently doing the 2 sets per exercise strategy. Yep, that's what I talk about in Beautiful Strength. Double tap training, as I talk about. Works really well and saves me a lot of time. Absolutely. Because the double tap training, and you don't even need to buy my book. Remember, everything I put in my books, folks, is always free on my YouTube channel and my podcasts and stuff. Everything here is free on my YouTube. You just got to go find it. And this is just a way, this is a shortcut. This is my way of saying, that information I've been giving you for the past 3 years, yeah, you can get it all in one book that you can read in a weekend. But search double tap training. That's what Cristobal is talking about. But yeah, that's what it's all about, that level A stuff. How do you put in 20% effort and get 80% reward back? And that's what double tap training is all about. So app number 1 here for self-coaching that can make a massive difference. Now, I will preface this by saying that the vast majority of you will never use this app for this purpose. You'll never do this. You'll never want to do it because it takes a little bit of humility and it takes just a little bit of forethought for it. But it can tell you worlds of information about how to do things better. And that is your camera app on your phone. When you're working out, just have someone flip out your video camera and shoot you doing a set of whatever. Doesn't matter what it is. Push-ups, pull-ups, burpees, kettlebell swings, whatever. And the reason for this is simple, because we always think we know what we're doing in our workouts. Even if we're looking in a mirror, we're pretty sure, like, yeah, I know what I'm doing. Yeah, I know what range I'm using at. Yeah, I know what my body position is. Yeah, I know how I'm moving. But this is always more of a self-perception thing rather than reality. I can't tell you the number of times I filmed myself some B-roll exercise footage doing an exercise for the sake of my YouTube videos here. And then I look at it in the editing deck, I'm like, that's what my pull-ups look like? That's what I look like when I'm doing that exercise? That's what my knee, I didn't know my knee was doing that. Oh my goodness. And that's all it takes is watching yourself on video. We used to do this all the time in Taekwondo, where we had, big, Marty McFly, Doc Brown kind of video cameras that sat on your shoulder, and it took like an hour to get set up, and then you had to take the tape out and you had to find a TV and all this other sort of thing. We would do this to assess our own technique in Taekwondo, and it always taught us about what we can do to improve. Always. You don't even, what am I looking for? What am I going to watch it? Just watch it and bring a critical eye to it. That's all you got to do. I guarantee you will get at least 2 or 3 things that you can do to improve. And when it comes to like coaching, that's a lot of what I bring to the table. It's just an external eye to someone's technique where I'm looking at it from an outside perspective so I can see what their push-ups look like. I can see what they're doing. And then from that external perspective, tell them, okay, you can do better push-ups by making these changes. But you can have that same perspective. And now it's never been easier with our smartphones. Just because we don't need the TV, we don't need the tape, you literally pull it out of your pocket, hit one button, and you're recording. That alone will change the game. This isn't 80% reward to 20%, not even 20%. It's like 2% effort here. But again, it's too simple, it's too easy, and let's face it, it's really sometimes hard to watch ourselves on camera. It's hard to hear ourselves on camera. Every content creator who makes videos and even podcasts and stuff is familiar with this. When I started making YouTube videos, it took me all day to work up the courage to stand in front of a camera and hit record because I was so self-conscious. I'm like, I don't want to watch myself. I don't want to watch myself. Now I'm just used to it. It's no big deal, right? It's just, you just get over it kind of thing. But that's the reason why most people won't do this. But I'm telling you, if you can get over that hump, it will change your workouts. Every workout. Take any exercise. I'm not saying you have to film every workout. I'm not saying you have to film every exercise, but whenever you got an exercise and you're like, I don't know, I'm plateauing here, or something doesn't feel right in my shoulder or whatever, just film yourself doing a set, and you're probably going to spot a couple of things right off the bat that you can improve. Just that. So use your camera app. Have someone film you, prop it up on a set of books or something like that, just whatever you need to do. But if you film yourself, that will make a massive difference in the quality of information you learn about how to improve your technique and your workouts. Just that. You don't believe me? I dare you. The next time you're working out, film yourself do anything, even a warm-up exercise. Just film yourself do it and try to find one thing you can do a little bit better. Breathing a little better, you film an angle where it's like, okay, I'm shifting too much to the left or to the right or whatever. Anything, just do it and just get an idea for it. Because I promise you, this is going to change the game for you. And if you don't want to, well, you're just going to keep running around in circles, always bringing the same level of information, knowledge, and proficiency to the workouts. And you're just going to keep banging your head against the wall, not knowing you're supposed to turn around and go in another direction. Joseph, my man, so Matt, I recorded myself at a Kung Fu tournament, right? I remember that. I think you sent me that video. Every year I see a lot of stuff you did not realize that I was doing. I know, right? It's hard. I'm not saying this is easy, folks. I'm just saying this is going to be educational and enlightening, because especially with something you do as routine as like martial arts, we build up our own perception of what we're doing and what we're engaging in. But when you have feedback, aside from the actual activity you're doing, it can be very telling. I mean, even with this podcast, when I go through on my editing deck and I'm editing the podcast, I notice several things that I do. Maybe too many repeating words. I'm speaking a little too fast when I'm talking to one. Maybe the tone of my voice isn't very good. I always spot stuff just through editing, because this is one of the advantages I have of being a content creator. I have to look at myself doing stuff, and that's why I can learn how to do it a lot faster than if I was just talking and not getting any sort of that feedback. So that's the first thing. Video camera, film yourself. The second app that can radically change the game is your Notepad app or a Google Docs app or anything you can write stuff down on. Because a workout journal or log in any form whatsoever can literally make all the difference in the world between not knowing what to do and having a clear path forward, knowing exactly what to do. Here's why. Because the value of coaching, yourself or externally, comes from having three things: observation, assessment, and planning. You need to have these three things to succeed at anything in life. Otherwise, you just, again, keep running around in circles. If you're not watching what you're doing, then you're blind. If you're not assessing what you're doing, then you're not taking a critical eye and looking for opportunities to improve. And if you're not planning, then you are just basically repeating things over and over. You're Bill Murray in Groundhog Day. Even Bill Murray in Groundhog Day did this, where he would be like, okay, instead of doing it this way, I need to do it this other way, and I need to do this instead of that. That's what he was doing the whole movie and how he broke out of the spell. But Unfortunately, a lot of us aren't doing that in our workouts, which is why our workouts end up being like Groundhog Day. We just keep doing the same work, same level of effort every single time. Now, long been using my own workout program or workout journal strategy. First, I called it the scoreboard. Now it's the adaptive training log. I've got a free or a quick read PDF, reddeltaproject.com. I misspoke. It's not free. It's like $5, but it's the quickest and easiest way to record your workouts in paper form. And it doesn't require filling in tedious, stupid little boxes. Can't stand spreadsheets. So it's a lot easier to track and manage. But what that does, just the act of keeping a log of any form will tell you what's working, what's not working, where you're stagnant, and what you can do to improve. And more importantly, the log, works with double tap training. One of the benefits of double tap training is that you record two sets. Two sets of information gives you a relationship. It gives you a relationship about what you're doing, and that relationship tells you exactly what you need to work on to make progress. It tells you if you need to do more reps. It tells you if you need to work on technique. It tells you if you need more warm-up. It tells you a lot just from those two numbers. And I dive into more about how to do that, again, in the double tap training episodes I've come out with in my book, Beautiful Strength. But you have those two numbers. I'm not saying you only do two sets your whole life. You could still do more, but you record those two sets because that gives you a relationship, and that relationship tells you everything. It tells me I can look at the clients that I do this for. Every client, I look at their workout log with this. I see the two numbers and instantly know exactly what they need to do to make progress. I don't need to consult research. I don't need to hum and haw and let me flip through pages in their workout log and have graphs and trends. Nope, those two numbers, they tell me everything I need to know. I'm like, dude, this is what you're doing in your workout. This is your exercise. And this is exactly what you need to work on in order to make progress. Clarity is power, my friends. When you have that clarity, you're no longer groping around in the dark saying, oh, what does this do? And how should I do this? Maybe I need to change this. Nope. You see it, you know it, you apply it. End of discussion. Saves you so much time and energy and effort because you know exactly what you need to do. Just any kind of workout journal at all. But I always prefer like a notepad or an app or Google Docs or something like that, because I don't like being constrained by the structure of classic workout logs. They're like, well, this is the box you put this information in, and this is the box you put this information in, and so forth. I like just having an open sheet of paper. It's like, write whatever you think is relevant. Write whatever you think is important. So if you go on to your camera app and you're noticing, you're like, oh man, I'm doing my push-ups and my back is bowing down at the bottom of the push-ups. I need to keep my back straighter. You write in your program or your app, make sure to keep your abs tight or whatever. Now you know exactly what you need to do in your next workout. Don't trust that you'll remember it. Don't ever trust your success to your memory. I'll remember it. I'm sure no, write it down. Nothing important happens until you write it down. You write it down, then you consult it for 10 seconds in your next push-ups. Oh, that's right. I got to keep my abs tight. Okay, got it. Right, just that alone will make the difference between making a lot happen over the next 6 months or going nowhere. Just that. And that's the reason why I'm so passionate about these kinds of self-coaching principles, is because all of us are so close to more of our potential, to the success we want. We're so close, and yet so far in so many respects. I was listening to a harrowing story of one of these Arctic expeditions. I forget the name of the expedition and who was on it and stuff, but it was one of those tragedies where everybody on the expedition died because they didn't get back to their base camp in time, and they all starved to death and froze to death. It was a terrible tragedy kind of thing. And they were assessing the progress because they died on the way back from the North to the South Pole. And they realized that if they had walked 11 more steps each day before making camp, they would have made it back alive. 11 steps. That's all it took each day between complete failure and death and success and glory. 11 steps. And that's the reality we face. in our progress in anything in life, but especially in fitness. Your ability to get better results is inches in front of your face. It's millimeters in front of your toes. And yet, if you don't know they're there and you don't know what you need to do to access it, you'll always come up short. And that's a tragedy, my friends. I want you to feel your potential. I want you to know you are capable of so much more than you are currently settling for. And these apps will help you unlock that potential because it doesn't take much. Big doors swing on small hinges. So record yourself once in a while, look for opportunities there, and record yourself in workout log. And again, you don't need an app for it. Of course, you can just notebook. The first time I was using my adaptive training log, I just did a big whiteboard I had in the basement gym that I was working out at. It's just right there. Don't need to access anything. I just like the app because it's always with me. I use it on Google Docs. So even if I'm somewhere and I'm like, hey, man, can I borrow your tablet or whatever? I can access it anywhere. And that's why I like it. So app number 1, camera for self-assessment. App number 2 is your workout log because that forces you to observe, assess, and plan for your next workouts. We'll get to the third one here in just a second. But let's see what else we can do. Cristobal is following up. So Matt, would you say it's a bad idea to change exercises or workouts that often? Very good. So I'm getting a little ahead of myself what I'm talking about here, but this is one of the reasons why you want to keep a log, is because that question would answer itself if you had the log and you knew the objective you were after. That's the other thing is here at Red Delta Project, we don't base things off of programs or diets and stuff. It's always about fundamental objectives and what habits help you achieve that objective. I've got a video coming out in the next several days on what these are, and make sure you're subscribed and stuff so you can watch that. But that's what everything here is based off of. Your success does not come from the exercises you do. It does not come from the foods you eat. It does not come from your diet and exercise habits. It comes from how those exercises, foods, diet, or exercise habits help you achieve a fundamental objective. That's the thing that determines your success. That fundamental objective. How well can you achieve it, and how consistently can you achieve it? So every single time you are wondering, would lunges be better or would leg press be better? Would I be better off having yogurt in the morning or eating eggs in the morning? Like there's a million ways we can turn our brain inside out trying to figure things out. But having that self-assessment in, okay, will it help me achieve that objective or not? Or make it easier to achieve that objective? That's your answer right there. Because it could help you, might not help me, or it could help me, may not help you. Same thing we were talking about the burpees earlier. Burpees could be a terrible exercise for you because it steers you not towards that objective, but away from the objective. Or it could be going directly after that objective for all I know. I don't know what your objective is. So every recommendation I make is based on blind faith and guesswork. Here's the rule of thumb I like to do with change, though, in general. Is don't make changes until they benefit you and you have a relatively clear perception on how they can benefit you. This is one of the biggest mistakes I see people make when it comes to fitness. They come to me and they're like, Matt, I've been doing this diet. I've been working on this program. I've been doing this exercise or whatever, right? It's been great. I've been getting the best results. I love it. It's wonderful. It's awesome. I'm going to completely scrap it and start over from scratch. It's like, what? Why? No, hold on. You got something great working for you. It's largely because of FOMO. We think, oh, there's got to be something better out there, isn't there? Oh, there's got to be something, not FOMO, but FOBO, fear of a better option that's out there. And grass is always greener on the other side. Again, this happens if you don't know what your fundamental objective is. You'd have no basis for determining whether what you're doing is actually good or not good. Even if it's getting you results, you're like, is it getting me the best results I can? Again, there's no way to know. You don't know what target you're trying to hit. So you don't know if your aim is off or not. So when we know what our fundamental objectives are, and yeah, I cover that in Beautiful Strength and Be Fit, Live Free and everything becomes a lot sharper and clearer. But when you have a program you're following and you're like, oh, boy, I'm doing this exercise, really kind of hurting my back, or I do this other exercise and wow, I feel that in my lats so much more than this other thing I'm doing. Change. Make the change right there. As soon as you've got a better option that helps you fulfill that objective, change right away. 100%. Don't wait. Don't think, okay, where's the periodization plan? And I got to wait for, nope, make the change. You got a better option? You do it. That's kind of my philosophy that I've adopted over the past several years. I used to be a real traditionalist kind of thing, kind of guy where I'd be like, no, this is the tradition. This is what we've always done. We stick to it and all these sorts of things. But now I'm like, you know what? As soon as you got a better option, change it. And I recognize sometimes the change can be hard. And that's on my fault too, because I'm always like, what? Why are we all doing it this way? We just do it this way. And they're like, well, because I used to work at a gym one time. There was this software program that we used to use to manage our schedules and our payroll and all these other sorts of things for the trainers. And it was a terrible piece of software. It was like built in the 80s. It practically ran off of ancient technology. It was horrible to use. Everybody hated it. And so I was always bitching, like, change it. Like, if we can find, there's got to be a better option out there. And someone's like, oh, yeah, there's better options. Like, change it, just change it. Well, that was when I worked at a corporate gym, and they were like, well, if we change this, we have to change it for the entire company, and it's going to cost all this money, and there's training and stuff. So it wasn't that simple to just change it. But in this case of, if you can make the change, just change it. If there's very little consequence to change, just do it. Just make the change. If you found better, do that. And knowing your fundamental objective is good for that. Knowing your workout log, looking and assessing what you're doing is good. Looking at what you're doing on film is good for assessing that as well, and knowing if it's going to be better. But I've got another technique that I'll share with you in just a little bit that will help with that, and knowing if something's actually better for you or not. Zero. I know I'm pronouncing that wrong. My apologies. But hello, friend. Want to ask, are squats with two legs very close to one another safe or for the joints and more dangerous? Does it matter? Probably doesn't matter. But you can know for yourself. Videotape yourself doing it. Watch yourself doing it. If your knees are like going all over the place, then you're like, oh, I don't think my knees are supposed to bend that way. Well, there's your answer, right? But yeah, generally it's perfectly fine. And close squats are usually something I include with everybody's program, because progressive calisthenics especially, you're going to do things on a single leg. You need to be able to have comfort, stability, and control with your legs fairly close to your center line. If you can't just keep doing lunges with wide legs and stuff like that. If you're going to have more weight on a single leg, you want it close to your center line. So if anything, I would say it'll be hedging on the idea that it's probably better off for you. One more here. Joseph A. Matt, I do 2 sets for each exercise. Do the same exercise in each workout. Is that a bad idea? Nope. Do the same exercise with just a slight variation difference. Should I change once in a while? So yeah, this is, again, a lot of times we like to change things up to change the flavor. You eat bologna sandwiches every day for lunch. Every once in a while, you're like, I'm feeling like roast beef today, kind of thing. You're changing the flavor. Does it really impact the effectiveness of the habit? Probably not. A lot of times that's a mistake we make. It's like, okay, instead of doing rows with a vertical grip, I'm going to do rows with a slightly underhand grip. Does it really matter? Not really. But unless it matters to you. You could be like, dude, I do it with this other grip now. Oh, that's so much better in the back. Okay, that's telling you something. Write it down in your log. Holy smokes, I just did supinated grip or with a rotation. My back feels so much more engaged. Wonder why that is. Okay, good. Now you wrote it down. Now you know to keep doing it. Now you know to investigate that further. Versus, that was kind of neat. And then it just goes by the wayside and you'll never learn anything or grow beyond it again. So experimentation is good. Experimentation is good. Sometimes, we don't know for sure. It's like, well, what if I did it this way versus that way? I don't know. Give it a try. This is the whole point of the self-coaching tools that I'm giving you today. The camera app, the workout log, observe, assess, and plan. Those are the 3 things that lead you to the promised land. Because when you're experimenting, you're gaining information from your own experience. And your own experience information will tell you far more valuable information than you'll ever get on social media or the internet or from my podcast or anything like that, because your experience is honest. It's true to you on what you actually need to do things. Now, there's two other tools that you can use with both the camera and the workout log in your notes app that can make a big difference. And this makes things real simple. The first of which is to note of technical erosion, as I call it, technical breakdown. So when you're watching yourself do your push-ups or your pull-ups or whatever, and you notice it's like, okay, rep 1, I look this way, but rep 15, my body's doing this now. My range of motion is shorter, my elbows are flaring out, my hips are sagging, my head starts dipping, whatever it is, whatever that thing. It's like those puzzles we had when we were kids. We read in the comic section of this thing we used to get called a newspaper, where they'd have two pictures, and they're like, can you spot 10 differences? You're like, what's the difference between the two? Oh, the dog's tail is up or whatever. It's the same exact thing. What is different between your first repetition and your last one, or the last several repetitions? Whatever that difference is, that's the thing you need to do to make progress with that technique. That way, it's customizable to you. It's specific to exactly what you're trying to do, to exactly how you're doing it. What is eroding with your technique? That's the thing to work on. Write it down in your log. Now you know exactly what to do to move forward. Now you know. You don't need to consult YouTube videos. You don't need books. You don't need it. You know exactly what you need to do. So there you go. The other tool that you can use is the classic old pros and cons list that I used to use this all the time when making decisions as a kid. Like, should I get a Nintendo versus a Sega Genesis? I can't know which one I should go for, right? The old 16-bit wars back in the early 90s there. Oh, man, the debates we used to have on the school bus as kids. Oh. But it's very simple. Like, say you got a habit here, okay? So my man, who was that? Cristobal was asking about changes. Okay, so let's say that you are contemplating a change of, instead of lunges, you're going to do goblet squats in your workout. Should I change to this? No problem. Get out your sheet of paper or your notepad or whatever. And at the very top of that, you write, what is your fundamental objective for your goal? Usually I start with the goal. What is your goal? I want to get bigger muscles. Okay, good. Goal. For the objective for that, you got to challenge your muscular work capacity. That's your fundamental objective for building muscle, again, that I address in Beautiful Strength. Good. That's your objective. So we need to assess whether or not the potential change will help you achieve that objective. Now, everything has nuance to it. There's no black and white here. Everything can help. Everything can potentially hurt. This is how you assess it for you. So on one side of your paper or your notes, you say, okay, these are the ways that it can help me achieve that. Versus on the other side, these are the ways it may help or hurt my ability to achieve that. So you can, in just little self-contemplation, it's just like, okay, goblet squats, they are more energy efficient because they're using both legs at the same time. So I'm not just doing endless single leg and then I got to do the other leg. Okay, good. Can you stick to it? Does it feel like it's working your quads better? Oh, yeah, I really feel my quads a lot better. Good. I feel my glutes more too. Okay, great. But then again, I'm limited to my rack of dumbbells, which only go up to 20 pounds. Okay, so it's harder to load goblet squats with only a total of 40 pounds because you got two 20-pound dumbbells. But you can load up a single leg on a lunge with two 20s a lot better. Okay, so that's a strike against it. Okay, so you can do this pro and con kind of thing back and forth, and you're trying to look for a pretty lopsided comparison. Like a lot of pros, little cons. Okay, that means it's probably beneficial for you. Or if it's the other way, it's like probably not going to work for you. If it's pretty even, well, that means roll up your sleeves, give it a try, and just see what happens. Chances are very good when things are pretty even like that. It just doesn't matter. So like, okay, do goblet squats one day, lunges the next. But if you're getting really strong feedback and you're like, wow, holy smokes, my legs are working so much better on these goblet squats. Well, there's your feedback for you. There you go. That's what you use. But you've got to trust yourself on this. There's a lot of rhetoric in our fitness culture that tells you, oh, you can't trust yourself. Oh, don't listen to yourself. Oh, you're the only. No. Trust, have faith in yourself. Have faith in your experience because it's honest. It's real, and it's giving you a lot of good information in that real-time feedback. But that pro and con list that you can do in your workouts, that will tell you if something's going to be better. And a lot of stuff will just be like, nah, it's different, but not any better. So probably doesn't matter one way or the other too well. Raquel saying, Matt, how not to fall while close squatting? Mailing for years. So squatting requires pulling. Squatting requires the ability to pull yourself into a deep squat. This is when you pull your toes closer to your shin, your calf closer to your hamstring, and your torso closer to your thigh. So when you squat down, you don't want gravity to just pull you down, especially when you're doing close squats or pistol squats and stuff. You've got a leg physically in front of you. So you got to pull yourself together really hard and aggressively. And so good ways to do this is to have your hands on something like a sturdy piece of furniture, suspension straps, racked barbell at the gym, whatever. Get into a deep squat and just pull yourself together. Pull it together, man. Pull yourself. So the hands will prevent you from falling back, but literally pull yourself together like an accordion. So your chest is getting pulled to your thigh or hamstring to your calves, shin coming forward. Or the way I like to think about it is just hip to heel. Get your butt as close to the back of your heels as possible and just try and pull yourself forward. And the less you have to pull with your arms, the more you're pulling with your legs, the better off you are. And that's how you can learn that sort of thing. Cristobal following up, Matt, which one do you prefer, gymnastics rings or suspension straps, and why? It's kind of a personal flavor thing, but for me, especially over the years, suspension straps by a country mile, by far, for several reasons. One is that suspension straps just generally have more ergonomics, better ergonomics. A straight handle just feels a lot better for me. I can rotate the handle as well. There are a lot of exercises that's going to be much more comfortable. Doing curls with gymnastics rings can feel a little rough when the ring is just rubbing into your palm. And the more resistance you use, the more it does that. Size and portability. I know people talk about gymnastics rings being portable, but I would classify that as semi-portable, where the size of the ring, and typically it's a looped strap. So you have a strap that's twice as long to get a certain amount of length. So if you need height of 10 feet, you need a 20-foot long strap, which doesn't sound like a lot, but boy, you put two of those rolled up into a backpack for a weekend trip somewhere, and that takes up a lot of space real fast. Suspension straps, especially the ones from Nosk. Hell, I built one time out of a single length of rope and two PVC handles that I can put in my pocket. And I'm not talking even a bulging pocket. I'm talking like a jeans pocket. I can fit it in there. So portabilities, versatility, the ability to string it up on various attachments, usually built-in door anchors, so it's better to use in a hotel room, so you don't need a separate thing. Again, the Nosk trainers are really good for that. Foot loops are one of the biggest obvious things there, of course. So you've got a lot of exercises there. Of course, you can always just use the straps of the rings to do that stuff. You can do that, but now you got to take it down, take out the ring, rethread it, readjust it versus foot loops just right there. So we use rings at Capra Bodyweight Training where I work. It's fine. They're great. But if I were to build a gym, I would probably have one set of rings for those who like it. And I know some people are like, yeah, but a false grip for muscle ups and stuff. It's like, okay, fine. I don't care about muscle ups anyway. I usually don't teach them, but okay, there's a couple of things. Some people might just be fine, but I would probably set up like 30 suspension trainers versus one set of rings, just because I can get so much more out of it. But really, it is about personal preference. And go off your feedback. Who cares what I think? Doesn't matter. I'm not the one using them. You are. So if you do dips on rings and you're like, oh man, that's so much better, there's your answer. But I'm the opposite. Especially the Nosk straps with their lay flat straps, so much more ergonomic to do dips on the Nosk twin trainer than with gymnastics rings. So much more comfortable. And comfort is key. The more comfortable you are in an exercise, the harder you can push yourself. Much harder. So that's why I like that. So we covered two of our three apps. We got camera, we got notepad, for your log and assessment, because everything is observation, assessment, and planning. You get those three things. Those are the missing ingredients that most people never take the time for leveling things up. The third app, and this one might be paid depending on how you go about it, is something for a timer, a timing app. You can use a regular stopwatch app that comes standard on your smartphone, but usually I find it's easier to program gym timers and stuff. I've got the old Gym Boss timer on my phone. I've had this thing on for years, and there were a couple of remove ads payments. So I think I paid a total of like $2 or $3 to get the whole non-added version and stuff like that. But if you can program your own gym timers, holy smokes, is that going to be a potential game changer? Because again, a big part of my job as a trainer is observing what people are doing, assessing what they're doing, and planning what they're going to do. But it's also just telling them to go. Just telling, okay, time for your next set. Okay, hang on, rest. Give yourself time. Rest. Nope, keep resting a little bit more. Okay, now go, kind of thing. And a gym timer can do that for you. You can time your rest periods, you can time your work periods, and you can time both. And you can make your own circuits and stuff. It's a lot of fun to do it kind of by the clock. You don't have to think about it. A lot of people like to do this because it means they don't count reps. Fundamentally, repetitions are just a timing mechanism anyway. If you go from being able to do 10 reps to 20 reps, your muscles don't care if you can do 20 reps. All they know is I had to do the exercise for twice as long. That's what the extra reps mean. So when you're using time, you're more directly measuring the fundamental variable that matters to your muscles. If you're doing push-ups and you're like, I just want to do more push-ups, your push-ups are tiny little short, fast things. Yeah, your reps are increasing, but the actual time may not be increasing, may even be going down. And that's what matters. Time, my friends, not the actual reps. So using timers gives you the ability to program your workouts, motivate you when to start and when to stop, and directly measure and assess what actually matters most in your training. And you can make your own workouts. You could be like, okay, I'm going to do push-ups for like 2 minutes, and then I'm going to rest for a minute, then I'm going to do my rows for a minute and a half. And you can make these managements around that can really be interesting. And if you've never worked out via time, it can get really interesting. We used to do this all the time at one of the gyms that I worked at, where we wouldn't count reps. We just give each other the challenge of, can you do the exercise for a minute? Can you do it for a minute? If you could do it for a minute and still kind of keep going, it's too late. Increase the weight. Okay. But if you could do it for 45 seconds, that was spot on. And you're like, good, you're right about where you need to go. We were higher volume training, of course, back then, higher reps. But if you were struggling to get 20 seconds, too heavy, go lighter. So it was always this self-regulating thing. And of course, you'd be like, well, what's the difference between that and reps? There really isn't. But with time, it kept us on track and kept us honest about it. We can also program our total amount of work too. So this is a tip I learned from GMB Fitness, that it's so much easier mentally to do this sort of thing, where instead of saying do these many sets and do these many reps and do all they'd say is practice this exercise for 5 minutes. And you can rest as much as you want, you can work as much as you want, you can go whenever, but you've kind of got that pressure in the back of your mind going like, I gotta go when I got it, because I don't have all day. I can't just keep endlessly working on this. If I want to make something happen, I got 5 minutes to make it happen. So I got to stay on point. I got to stay focused. So you can do this for 3 minutes and 5 minutes. The general programming variables are the same as everything else. More time, generally less intensity. Less time, more intensity. That's the seesaw that you're still dealing with. But a timer can make a huge difference in how you're doing your workouts, how you're going through them, your motivation to work, the motivation to push yourself, a little bit of pressure, saying like, okay, I've only got 20 seconds left. Keep going, keep going, keep going. That external motivation and instruction that I usually give people can be replaced with a workout timer. And I'm going to be making examples of my favorite circuits and workout timing and stuff like that here on the YouTube channel. So make sure you subscribe. Again, I got the Gym Boss app, but I'm sure if you just Google YouTube or Google search in your store for workout timer, you'll find a ton of them. I mean, they're all basically just programmable workout timers, Tabatas, and every minute on the minute kind of thing. But anything where you can program your own rest periods and work periods and stuff, money. But that can be such a great way to work out for yourself. It's a lot more fun, keeps you motivated, keeps you engaged, prevents you from getting distracted and just doom scrolling endlessly on your phone. Oh, that's right, I'm doing pull-ups and stuff. Keeps you on track. So much of the instruction and motivation I give clients can be replaced with just that. So there you go, your 3 apps: camera for observation and assessment, workout log for observation, assessment, and planning, and as well as assessment of various habits, what might changes might be better for you. Uh, Technical erosion, observing that with your camera app or even just yourself, like, okay, range of motion on the pull-ups is getting a little short, and using the 2 set strategy, the double tap training for that relationship, can tell you worlds about what you need to do to progress. And using timer app for motivation and guidance and structure as well. Those 3 things, you can put them on your phone. You have them all the time. You don't need to pay anything for them or pay very little for them and stuff. And that alone can give you that 1% difference from every workout you do to make them safer, more effective, more comfortable, and can make all the difference in the world. The only question is, do you have the motivation and the discipline to use them? Do you have the ability to take this advice to heart and implement it? You don't even use all 3, just use 1 for the next week. Just, I give you the challenge: record yourself doing 1 set of each exercise you do. That's it. That's it. Again, the potential for your ability to make great things happen is so high that all you got to do is spread your wings, and I guarantee you're going to fly. But will you be willing to take that first step? Will you be willing to do that first thing? And I know a lot of you do, because a lot of you are very motivated to do these things. But otherwise you're just grappling around in the dark, hunting and pecking, hoping by sheer luck to get some results. And that's not a good formula for success. A blind squirrel will find a nut every once in a while, but winners know where to find the nuts, know where to find exactly what they're going after. And this is how you do it with these 3 apps for self-coaching. Let me see if there was anything else I needed to mention here real quick. Oh, yes, another point about the values of creativity and problem solving. Now, to be a self-coach like this, you have to be a problem solver and you need to use creativity. And I know those are things that are not heavily supported in our fitness culture, because most of the rhetoric around our fitness culture encourages people to be followers, obedient followers. Sit up, shut up, don't think for yourself. Just, here's the diet, follow it. Can I have white rice? Shut up. No, you can't have white rice on this. That would be against the rules. Can I just do this? No, you can't make that change. Sit down. Do as you're told. That's a lot of the rhetoric in our fitness culture. And that's why a lot of us feel uncomfortable with making our own choices, solving our own problems. Isn't there someone who can just lead me by the hand? And the answer is no. A good qualified coach can certainly guide you a lot, but even in my profession as a coach myself, I'm helping people find their own path. I tell this to clients all the time, like, I don't have a magic book of spells that's going to take you from A to Z. I don't have all the answers for how to overcome every challenge you're going to face in the next year in your quest to look and feel better. I don't know all the answers. We are a team and we're going to figure it out and problem solve. I have a lot more tools at my disposal, but we're going to do it together. But let it be known, I don't have the magic formula for you. No one does. But unfortunately, our human psyche is often much more geared towards learning and listening to whoever tells us they do. Yeah, I'm going to make a video sometime like, here's the exact formula you need for gains. And it's going to be so technical and so detailed. And I guarantee you a lot of people are going to be like, thanks, this is great. It's like, it's based on nothing. It's based on absolute just grasping for straws information. But when you know what's best for you and you're building your own path, you're solving your own problems, that's how you take control. And that's ultimately what we're in this fitness game for. We actually don't want the gains or the health or to lose body fat and stuff. We just want control over our body. But you can't have more control over your body if you're not in control of your habits. If someone else is in control of your habits, or a diet's in control, or a workout program's in control, and you're just always like, sit down, shut up, and don't think about it, don't question it, then you're not in control. The dogmatic approach is in control. And that can work, but I encourage you to not settle for it can just work. It can work. Okay, great, it works. But meanwhile, you're compromising your quality of life, or you're not really in control and you're feeling stressed out because now you can never eat pasta again or whatever. Don't make just getting the results the ultimate objective that you're after. Have more control. Be fit, but also live free. Have the freedom and the control over your own habits. And these three applications and these techniques will help you do exactly that. So best of luck in your workouts this week, my friend. I will see you next week, and I am off myself for a trip down to Colorado Springs. I'm going to be riding up Pikes Peak. This is my third time attempting to do this, so I'll try and take some photos and videos and stuff, put it on the Instagram tomorrow. But yeah, I'm hoping to do it in under 5 hours. Get up Pikes Peak to the top, 14,100 some odd feet on a road bike. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be hard, but hopefully we're successful. But yeah, follow the Instagram. Don't forget, audio for this is coming out in the podcast directory of choice. Thanks again to our sponsors, me, in my books, Beautiful Strength. Use calisthenics to look and feel your most attractive self, into the AM apparel to help you showcase and highlight your beautiful strengths with great workout apparel. Thanks again, everybody. I will talk to you next time. Till then, be fit and live free.